There's a new king of the middleweight division, a challenge for the dynasty at 205, and the Game of Thrones continues in the lightweight division. It's championship season, and this is MMA On Draft. We're here at the Dugout Sports Bar in Simi Valley, California. For First Run TV, this is MMA On Draft. My name is Rich Slayton, joined by my good friends Joe Cervellin, Donna Gonzalez, and Gary T, talking about the big news in mixed martial arts. First up, there's a new king in the revolving door of the light heavyweight division, Anthony Pettis, our new lightweight champion. First of all, fantastic fight.
Absolutely.
But beyond that, who really is the biggest challenger up next for Anthony Pettis?
I got TJ Grant.
TJ Grant?
All day.
Why?
Dude has a solid, track record in the UFC. He finishes fights that not a lot of guys at 155 are doing. I think he comes in and poses the biggest threat to Pettis right now.
Okay. Now, I heard, Joe, you don't agree.
Yeah, after Pettis is done with Grant, I'm looking forward to Melendez maybe. Him versus Gil Melendez would be exciting.
209?
That would be exciting. Absolutely.
I mean, that's it. All he's going to say is that it was a great fight and throwing two names. I have 9 or 10 people on my list.
Yeah,
that
but
I think,
8 of them can't be.
All right, let's go.
We have a list. We have lists.
Start at the top, Gary. What do you got?
First of all, you guys saying that the fight was a great fight. It was a one-round fight. It was an okay fight. Benson Henderson is so much better than that fight. He's so much better. Yes, he got caught.
You want to see him lose a third time to Pettis as well.
He can totally do that.
I want to see another fight.
Yeah, he got caught by Pettis finishing people the way that he's been finishing them for his whole career.
Benson Henderson is a great fighter. He shouldn't have got caught.
Absolutely.
He
And
won
just
the
got his
first
black belt.
round.
He definitely shouldn't have got caught.
He won that first round. Like, if Pettis knocked him out, that would be one thing. But he got caught. And
No,
he's
he
so
didn't.
much better
Pettis
than that.
set up that triangle beautifully, and he set up the armbar via the triangle, which he's done in a number of fights. Pettis finishes his fights, and that's something. Benson Henderson is a great fighter. He's exciting to watch. He's charismatic. He doesn't finish his fights, and he hasn't since he's gotten in the UFC.
Pettis set it up by breaking his body down with those shots that he
those
wanted no
kicks.
part of. Doing some crazy cartwheel capoeira thing that kind of he messed up, but then was able to go into the
But
triangle.
Henderson, he stalled Pettis through the first round.
That's all Henderson does, though, is he's been stalling his opponents,
Since
and he
he
hasn't been
became
finishing
champ.
them.
Yeah.
And Pettis has just been running through everybody.
I want to see 3. I know Dana said no way, but I want to see another fight between the two
Okay,
guys.
let's hear your list of 10 people. Let's, you guys, get your thumbs out.
All right. I got Gil Melendez.
Yes.
415, by
Yes.
the way, San Francisco.
I got Frankie Edgar.
Yes.
Oh, Joe's got a half
I'm
with
going
them.
down.
I think Frankie
I'm going
I
poses a
got
big
Clay
threat.
Guida.
No.
No.
I love
Won.
Clay.
Spin this
Clay
around.
is
Clay is
exciting.
top 13.
No, Clay is
I love
exciting. He's
Clay
not beating
Guida.
He's not beating Pettis.
No way he's gonna beat
Any
Pettis.
fighter that can push Pettis and is not afraid to get his face bloody can give Pettis
Yeah,
a
but-
run
Let
for
him
the
do a
belt.
Geico commercial. Who's next?
Guida's he's never afraid to get bloody, but he's not going to beat Pettis
I
around.
still got Joe Lozano on my list.
No.
I got Nate and Nick
Joe
Diaz.
Lozon, he knocked him out before.
I think Joe Lozano's a good fighter.
I think Nate will give him a good fight. I think Nate will give him a good fight.
I got both of them.
I think Nate will give him a good
If
fight.
he doesn't do that macho, I'm going to walk
Yes.
at you. 'Cause
True.
That used to
Absolutely.
work until Thompson. He did that against a couple of guys, but
I don't think
Thompson
it's a good
split his
idea
head
for
open.
anybody,
Yeah.
Anderson Silva, to fight with their hands down. I'm just saying.
And he's training with Alpha
Okay, who's
Male
next?
a little bit now.
Nate?
Yeah.
I got Melvin Gillard.
No.
I got Sam Stout.
No.
No.
I got Maynard. Gray Maynard.
Gray Maynard?
Gray Maynard?
Gray Maynard will give him a good fight.
Yeah,
He'll
good fight.
destroy Maynard.
But Pettis will win. Yeah.
I
Pettis
got
will
Diego
win.
Sanchez.
No.
I love Diego,
Wait,
but he
where's
will.
Diego been? Are you kidding
He's
me?
fighting Melendez in like a month.
I'm seeing these
Gil
guys can
Is he?
push
I didn't know
Pettis.
that.
They could all
I'm
win.
looking forward to
Anybody
that.
could
Melendez is
win.
gonna win.
I have TJ Grant. I also have Michael Chandler, who's a 12-0 fighter from Bellator.
You know what? I'll actually give Michael Chandler just the benefit of the doubt, having never seen him against UFC fighters.
You know what? You just sold me. Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
And I'm going to think out of the box. I'm going to be very creative. I'm going to say Kenny Florian. I'm going to say
You think
Kenny
Kenny
can walk
Florian
in
can
with his
beat-
tie
No,
and
negative.
his suit jacket.
Negative.
Is it like a Twitter fight?
Negative.
Because
I'm
Kenny Florian will
telling
win
you.
the Twitter battle.
I'm telling you, I think he can push Pettis.
You know what? Here's
What
who I
about
want to see.
Cyborg versus Pettis?
That works too.
I think
Wait,
he would win.
That works
female
too.
or male?
Both tag team.
female.
Off the top
female
rope.
sided. Cyborg. What about Penn at 55 if he comes back?
No. He doesn't have the energy for it.
He doesn't have. He has an iron jaw, but like
BJ Penn 5 years ago, absolutely. BJ Penn now.
His body.
No.
The fight that everyone wants to see at 155, but we're not talking about right now, is Jose Aldo Anthony Pettis. That's the fight.
This is what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see.
That's like two Ferraris driving into each other.
And start chopping those legs, and Anthony start like jumping off the cage, and it's going to be awesome.
Or Aldo versus McGregor, Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah.
Or Aldo versus Cub Swanson.
Aldo versus anybody.
Yeah.
I'll watch Jose Aldo fight anybody.
Or Cub Swanson versus anybody. Conor McGregor versus anybody.
Yeah.
Or Chad Mendez.
So you're talking about 145 now, which brings up a really important question we wanted to talk about.
Right.
Or
if they go up or down 10 pounds.
If they can, that's not a big weight. That's why, like, if Frankie goes up and down, any of those guys can jump up and down the weight class, and I'd love to see Jose come up and fight Anthony.
Well, then here's the real question. For a long time, lightweight has been considered the most exciting division.
Absolutely.
It really has the action.
Absolutely.
Is that still the case? Is lightweight still the most exciting division?
I think so, lightweight at 145 and 155 because they're interchangeable.
Right.
I think they're small, so their cardio is amazing. And they go to the ground a lot, so anytime they go to the ground and I see some jiu-jitsu, that's a good fight to me.
You love it.
And there's some heavy hands going on, a lot of more head kicking now.
So you're with the small guys, that's where you say the excitement lands?
And 135. As long as it's not the guys that just kind of dance, like I'm not. Who's the champ? What's his
Texas
name?
two-step?
Yeah, he's champ right now.
You about Henry Morale or Dominic Cruz?
Oh, Hennon.
Demetrius Johnson?
Demetrius.
That's
He's
125.
amazing.
He's 125.
He's amazing
awesome.
technically, but.
Oh, that last fight was
nobody
beautiful.
can catch him.
Yeah.
He's like a mosquito.
Right.
You can't catch him.
But I want to
That's
see
why.
Benavidez have a rematch with him, and I want to see Benavidez. I like how
That's the problem with
Benavidez
125.
fights.
The pool's not deep enough to have the exciting fights. That's why 155 and 145, their pool is so deep that we will never lack for exciting fights at either one of those weight classes. The pool is just, that is a deep ocean. And that's why it's awesome.
And then also heavyweights.
And that's what I wanted to say. Right now, for the first time in years, I get to say these words. The heavyweight division is the most exciting division in mixed martial arts now.
It is an exciting division if you like to watch people get knocked out, but I like to see people go to the ground, and they don't go to the ground enough, except, a couple of them do. But if you want to see somebody get knocked out in a vicious manner, yes, heavyweights. Exciting fights.
Or if you want to see one of the greatest jiu-jitsu players in the history of the sport get his arm broken by one of the other great jiu-jitsu players in the history of the sport.
That was awesome in also a heartbreaking way.
But it was but that's what I'm saying. It's an exciting, beautiful moment. No one saw that coming. No one saw Frank Mir rolling, taking that arm off.
But Frank Mir's broken arms before.
Yeah, but no one saw him doing it to Nogueira.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Let me give you guys
front kick to the face, Travis Brown, Alistair Overeem.
I'm gonna blow your mind with what I'm gonna say.
I'm ready for my mind to
That was a struggle.
I agree with Donna and Joe. I'm going with featherweight, bantamweight, and flyweight. I think those are the most exciting divisions, and for this particular reason that they don't have history yet. And I'm going to explain what I mean.
There's potential.
I'm going to tell
like this.
These are brand new divisions. We don't really know anything about these divisions except who the champions are.
Okay, I like this. I like this. Can we throw the ladies in there? I'm just saying.
Sure. Heavyweight, lightweight, welterweight, they have history. We can sit around talking about Hoist Gracie 15, 18 years ago, Ken Shamrock and their records, Matt Hughes and his 12, 15 win streak. The smaller divisions don't have that, so people can't really talk about it like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna enjoy the next 5 to 10 years watching those divisions evolve. So one day I could say, remember that 3-man battle royale with Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, and well, I'm joking, but that
would be good.
That history.
We need Cruz back, by the way. Get better and come back.
I want to see that involvement, so I can have that conversation 10 years down the road.
Jumping around of weight classes also.
I hope it blew your mind there.
Cruz and Pettis or something, if they could work that out.
But you know what's really shocked me for talking about excitement of divisions is how kind of stuffy and boring light heavyweight has got during this time period. I think this is the worst it's been.
You know what light heavyweight's missing? Anderson Silva. Am I allowed to say that?
Maybe, but who knows?
We'll bleep it out. Don't worry about it.
Sure enough.
This is on the web. We can do that.
You want Anderson up at light heavyweight?
I want Anderson at light heavyweight all day. He is not competitive at 185. It's boring. He's boring. He's not good for the weight class anymore. I want him at 185 I want him at 205 where he's competitive, where the fights are going to be exciting, and where he is just not going to mow everybody down.
Anderson against Cormier.
Yes.
Against
all day.
Velasquez. against any of those guys.
Velasquez.
That's his heavyweight.
That's a lot. That's a much bigger jump.
That's a huge jump.
He can go down.
But I'd love
I'm
to
just
see,
throwing super fights out there.
I'd love to
There's
see
no
him
more
fight
super fights.
Rashad.
Anderson versus Batman would be fantastic.
I think the super
Batman.
The super fight talk.
How much does Batman walk
I think is gone. Let's not talk about the Jones and GSP. That's not going to happen anymore because of the
no
Weidman loss.
helicopters, no super fights now.
Super fights are dumb.
Look, my question is with this. You guys, my question with Silva is that does he want it anymore? He's 37, 38 years old. Yes, he's going to fight Weidman in December. Is he going to win just for the sake of saying, okay, well, I beat the fighter that beat me and leave? What's the point of him winning?
He's got 10 more fights on his contract.
He doesn't. Does he really want it? He's got the money. He's got the legacy already. He doesn't need to fight anymore. I don't think he wants to fight anymore. He talked about retiring.
Well,
he lost.
People say some weird stuff after a knockout loss, for sure.
That's true.
And I think, as long as we're talking about Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman,
yes.
I think that we come back and we see the Anderson Silva. Everyone talks about this drop in the hands thing as, well, that's what Silva does. No, it's not. It's what he's done for the last couple of years when he got bored.
Bored at 185.
You know what Anderson Silva does? Anderson Silva. If you want to see what Anderson Silva does, see his fights against Rich Franklin.
Right.
See his fight against Dan Henderson. See his fight against Vitor. Anderson's not doing that.
He wanted a Franklin
so
fight
bored because nobody is challenging him. Sorry.
I think he comes out and fights. I think we're going to see the 2009, 2010 Anderson Silva.
That's what we want to see, but he needs to come and do that. And then he needs to go up to 205 because he's made the 185 class so stagnant that it's not. I mean, we should really be saying that this is the most exciting class, and we're not because it's boring. And the change of the guards needs to happen. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't think the rubber match should happen so quickly. I think that Weidman should get a whole bunch of fights and then have to fight Anderson again.
Weidman's awesome, but he can be a people's champ at another weight class. We'll put him up at, send Weidman down.
Silva doesn't have another 10 fights in him.
He's a good people's champ.
I think Silva should do, if he wins the rematch.
Silva shouldn't be one.
Gary, what do you think?
If Silva wins the rematch, he should retire and sail off because he did his thing.
Why?
Because he does. I don't think the need or want is in him anymore.
No, I agree
really
at 185, but if he went to 205,
he'll get killed.
No, he wouldn't. Oh my God, that's where he should be fighting. That's where he should be. He should not be fighting at 185. Thank you. He's not fighting at 185.
The only fight I think he gets killed in at 205 is against John Jones. I think against John Jones.
You think John Jones kills him?
I think John Jones gets inside.
Kills him? That's a strong word.
Here's the reason. Here's my argument why.
Okay.
Is one of the things that Anderson Silva's been able to weather against 185ers is their ability to control him against the cage and on the ground. Look at Yushin Okami pushing him into the cage. Anderson Silva going, I'm bored. Okay. John Jones gets his hands on him. I think Anderson's going for a ride. And I think Anderson Silva under John Jones is a really dangerous place. I always thought that's where he gets beat. I mean, you look at it, that's where he had trouble with against Dan Henderson, where he had trouble against Chris Weidman.
He might just knock Jones the hell out, though.
It's absolutely possible.
Jones has amazing hands, but I think
so does Anderson, and that's where he would test him. He's not testing
I think he's
him
going to
at
touch him. He's going to sun him.
I think GSP has a better chance of beating Silva than Silva has of beating Jones.
That's possible.
GSP and Silva would be interesting.
That would be interesting right now.
GSP and Silva would absolutely not be interesting. That would be a boring fight that Anderson Silva would mop him.
What about Rory McDonald? If some of the 170ers go up, Rory McDonald going up to fight
No, nobody
Silva.
needs to go up to fight Silva. Silva's way too big for the weight class that he's in now, so he needs to go up. He doesn't need to go down. Down is more ass kicking.
Yeah.
Up is where the fights are.
Rory's a big 170 though.
No,
it's true.
Yeah.
Well, no,
And
Rory is, but I don't think he needs to go down.
He's also an
to anybody.
overdresser, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
An overdresser?
Overdresser, come on.
Leave the suits.
Leave
I like
that.
the suits.
It's American
classy.
Psycho style, man.
Yeah, no. It's
Patrick
leave that
Bateman.
kind of suit for Mad Men and come in here like a gentleman. That's just, it's a little bit too much for me. Okay, so Weidman Silva. What are our predictions for that fight? What do you think, Gary? Weidman, Silva. Where's it going?
If Silva comes
Not
in...
to inconvenience you.
I got it. If Silva comes in with the mindset, I just think Weidman is confident right now. He withstood the first round. He's comfortable fighting him. I'm going to give it to Weidman because I don't think Silva wants him. I think it's his time.
Joe, I'm going to guess that you disagree, just on an off chance.
Tell us.
I was trying to be subtle there, but I like Weidman. I watched a lot of his interviews pre and post fight. I think he's a classy guy. He's an inspirational guy. He was a psychology major in college, so he used psychology to not be held back by the myth of Anderson Silva, and I think we saw that in the ring because Anderson did get in his head, but then he came out of that. And the thing with Anderson, leaning back with his hands down, I think he was surprised that Weidman kept coming because I think most guys would have been broke.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I admire that in him, but I think Anderson's going to destroy him in the rematch. And I think Weidman will have a lot of other good fights against other people.
One for Weidman, one for Anderson. Donna.
Well, because it's me, I don't have a very straightforward answer for you. I think it depends on the Anderson Silva that comes in.
Right.
I think everybody running around saying that Weidman got lucky is taking away from his record is perfect in the UFC.
For that, yeah.
He was well prepared.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends on what and who gets in the cage.
Okay.
Anderson focused, kind of unstoppable at 185. I've said it. And Anderson not focused, and Weidman as focused as he was going into the last fight. I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll break the tie. I'm going Anderson Silva all the way. I believe he's going to come out and fight like Anderson Silva actually fights.
Right. 2009 style.
I think he's insulted that he even let that happen to himself.
Maybe he should fight at a weight class where he's comfortable, and then everybody can stop swinging from his nuts.
So,
what was that?
Then everybody can stop swinging from his nuts.
Hey, they're comfortable and you can get a good grip.
That's another bleep from Donna's mouth.
Yeah. Whatever. That's a place for a good tire swing. As long as we're talking about swings that are happening in divisions, right? Fantastic segue. A big change for women's MMA. No longer a women's division in Bellator Fighting Championship anymore.
I don't like it.
Not cool.
Don't like it at all?
Not
Okay,
cool.
so
Thank you. Not cool.
So, first, I know you feel pretty strongly about the development.
Of course I do. I feel strongly. It sucks that Bellator let them go. It's awesome that the UFC has one weight class for the ladies. You got to hand it to Invicta. Invicta is sitting on gold right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're the only ones catering to this amazing faction of the sport. I said it last time, if you watch Invicta 5, that was one of the best cards I've ever seen, regardless of the gender of the fighters. So I think awesome that Invicta has this golden egg, and I think everybody else is missing out.
Yeah, Invicta's amazing.
Absolutely.
And,
Shannon Knapp is my hero.
Some of those fights are so technical. I think there was the one girl. I think she was like 18. The Japanese girl. She was like 135. That was some of the best stand-up. That was some of the best stand-up fighting I've ever seen. It was just the level changes and the combo she was doing was amazing.
These ladies are coming in as athletes. These are not female fighters.
Right.
These ladies are coming in as MMA fighters all day.
Right.
Do you think the women's division holds as much sway in the UFC? Is it solidified now in the UFC, or if Ronda leaves, is it going to be in trouble?
No, I think it is, because there are so many women fighting to get right behind Ronda. I don't think anybody expected Kat Zingano to get in the cage and just become the force that she was. Everybody was like, what was that? And there are so many women behind her that are just like, yes, we are here, we're staying.
Mainstream-wise, it'll be interesting to see what happens when Ronda is either retired or taken off of the pedestal, because there's a lot of kind of drama behind that. But
somebody else will come in as the bad girl. Ronda's just really good at being the bad girl.
Right, but I think a lot of it is riding on that right now.
I want to hear Gary's take on women's mixed martial arts.
I would love to hear this.
I am going to mention Ronda Rousey, and Donna's probably going to throw her drink in my face, but that's okay.
No, I'll rear naked choke you. It's okay.
I think Bellator female division was an experiment. I think the UFC female division is an experiment. I think that if Ronda Rousey retired tomorrow, she said she's planning to in 2 years, or went to do other movies, they would get rid of the division.
No, Miesha Tate, Kat Zingano.
And all the other ladies are coming in behind them.
The problem with the female divisions right now that UFC, it's that when these females, it seems like they're there for 2 to 3 years to get their money, to parlay that into a movie career, and they're gone. I haven't.
Rampage Jackson, hello?
I'm talking about female. I'm talking about just.
Right, but don't say that it's just the ladies doing that.
Gina, who was around a lot longer than that, fought in Thailand, brutal Muay Thai fights.
Rousey's talking about retiring in 2 years. She's getting movie roles. She doesn't want to do this.
She's not, okay, here.
I wish Chuck would have retired in 2007. And done movies. That would have been fantastic.
But here's why Ronda's talking about retiring. You got to look at the age that she is. Female MMA has not been available to 18-year-old girls until now. So we're talking about 28, 30-year-old women who have had to break down these doors and really only have a 4-year span in their career. In the future, we will see women coming in at 18 years old that will have 14-year careers just like the men. You got to give it time.
The point I was trying to make that I want to see Invicta set up precedents. I want to see females stick in the sport for 10 to 15 years.
And they will. And
I mean,
they will.
Look at the cast for the Ultimate Fighter this season.
Yeah.
They're not picking girls out of the amateur ranks. Roxanne Modafferi or Modafferi. I can never remember.
I don't know.
She's been fighting for so long.
Yeah.
She's also the coolest, weirdest, most
And
awkward,
nobody's
funny chick ever.
Given
But she's
women
been-
a chance before this.
I just want to see more of that.
And they will.
It's an insult to us as fans if we have a female champ who looks good on a poster who's saying, "I'm going to retire," just starting out.
I
I'm
don't
going to
think
retire.
so.
She said undefeated though. She looked with fire in her eyes and said, "I am never going to be defeated."
And I think it's an
that.
insult to the athletes to expect them to
see about
do.
that.
to
Let
expect
Cyborg
them
come to her weight
yeah.
class.
I think it's an insult to the athletes to say, "Oh, look, you guys haven't gone in the past and been here for 10 years," when it wasn't available 10 years ago. Dana was screaming for years until Ronda showed up that he would never put women in the cage, in the octagon.
And he's credit to Dana. He's admitted that and
Absolutely.
apologized.
If Ronda wasn't a nice-looking woman who'd be put on a poster, would female MMA be as popular as it is? If it's a bunch of, I'm going to say a bunch of ugly chicks brawling it out, female MMA be popular.
Thank you
can't
for
take that away.
I know. Thank you for
There's a sex appeal
your
factor.
stand on feminism, but
There's a sex
but
appeal factor,
it's true.
as there are in
And
all sports.
You know what?
In all sports,
sometimes you have to break down the doors with the tools that you have, and Ronda has all the tools.
Yeah.
She's got the arm bars. She's got her great fighting pedigree.
And the armbar.
They're different
Okay,
arm bars.
she can
Every
arm bar
arm bar is
you.
different.
I got it.
They're
You
not
know what
the
I
same
mean?
arm bar.
Any writers for Jezebel.com, his name is Gary T, and you can find him on Facebook.
She's
Okay, I
using
got
her
his,
tools, and you
what's
use
his new
those
address?
tools.
We'll throw his address
and
out there.
that's what happens.
GPS it and.
You know what I mean? We would all love to say that it doesn't matter. It does, and she's using the tools, and you got to use what you got, and not take. You can't. If Ronda was ugly, you still could not take away the way that she fights.
Very true. And she's not the only dominant champion in the UFC right now. There's one other person who's on a tear going back years now.
Tell us.
And that is, of course, Johnny Bones Jones, who in just a couple of weeks is defending that light heavyweight title
excited.
against Alexander Gustafsson.
All right. Well, you guys can wake me up when you get past this.
Did you move your swing from Silva to Jones?
No.
Well, first of all, that's
a
I will
trick
happily,
question. No, I'm not-
I'll swing from Silva to Jones back and forth as much as I want to.
He has two swings.
Now, I think that Gustafsson's more of a challenger than you think. I think that Gustafsson.
I agree.
I mean, he
I
hasn't
think John Jones is
fought
an
the
amazing
same
fighter.
level of guys.
Absolutely.
He's good.
He's
good.
Okay, you cannot say that Gustafsson's fought the same level of guys that John Jones. Look at John Jones' tear that he went through. You're talking about back to back to back. We're talking Shogun. We're talking Machida. We're
Making them
talking
look ineffective.
Making
Wait
all
a
those
second,
guys look so
Gustafsson beat
bad.
Hua.
Gustafsson, yeah, that's
Did he make
one
him look
person.
ineffective? Did he make him look like an 8-year-old boy swinging
He
like
still
this?
beat him.
From the collection,
He beat
but-
Maya.
John Jones has a collection of champions in
Absolutely.
his pocket. Gustafsson doesn't have that.
He's
But
a
I still-
predator.
He has Matyashenko, he has Thiago Silva,
Right.
he's got Rua, he's got solid
He's got
fighters
solid
in his
fights.
fight. No, maybe not
He does. So
great
he is a
champions.
formidable opponent.
Very true.
He is a formidable opponent who has the tools and the ability to come in for a change of the guards. John Jones, like Anderson Silva, does not walk on water, and he is not infallible.
True. TJ Grant is to Pettis as this guy is to Silva.
I don't know.
You would
just
agree
waiting
because
for
you
their-
think TJ
their
Grant can win that
second
fight.
I do. Yes.
waiting for their
I think
next
that they are
fight.
solid fighters that nobody's
They're
giving
solid
credit
fighters.
to. I think Weidman
He
is a
knocked-
solid fighter that nobody's giving
Grant
credit
knocked
to.
Maynard out.
Jones has fought a lot of great fighters. He's beat a lot of great fighters who tested him in a lot of different skills, except size. That's what Gustafsson
Well, let's
is
send
bringing
him up to fight Velasquez.
No, let me finish.
That's the test.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what Gustafsson's doing.
Go ahead,
The
Gary.
size. He's got the boxing, he's got the wrestling, he's got
You
the
think of
ability.
setting him up to fight?
Hold on, one second. Who's the guy who's fighting John Jones again?
I know.
Who's John Jones fighting again?
Gustafsson.
Gustafsson.
Gus. Okay, I didn't know if it was
Wait, but
Gustafsson.
who's he setting him up to fight? Who did you just say?
Oh, it was kind of an aside. We were talking about Velasquez after he
Oh, I
destroyed.
thought you were saying John Jones was
that
going to fight
the tall
Velasquez.
blonde
I'm
guy
like,
who
I
was
missed
fighting.
that one.
I'd pay to
The
see
tall
it.
blonde guy who was fighting. After he destroys him, then we could send him up to.
I
like Gustafsson.
Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
He's totally got the skills to beat Jones. Now, if Jones doesn't beat Alexander convincingly, I think that proves that size is the key
I
to
see what
beating
you're saying.
Jones. And
The reach.
Jones should go and fight heavyweights, because then he would get beaten by the heavyweights.
I want to see him against Cormier, Velasquez,
All those guys.
All those guys.
All those
Yeah,
guys.
I don't,
guys.
No,
I think it's
I don't think
Jones
I don't
in
think
big
Jones needs to
country.
go up to heavyweight. No,
I think he's
don't
right where he
Jones-
belongs.
I totally
Who
agree.
else does he have after he goes through this guy?
Anderson Silva when he comes up to light heavyweight.
Okay, that'll be very interesting. And then who else?
Well, then go through the list again. Why not?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
There has to be a weight class change to Jones. Either he has to go up,
No,
or
he
someone
doesn't.
else has to come down.
Jones
No,
should have never been
the
fighting
people
in
in his weight class
205.
need to
Jones is a
step up.
heavyweight fighter who should always. That's why he's so good. Those limbs. It's like, to me, the idea comes to mind is that if GSP was a 6'2", 6'3" guy fighting in the welterweight division, how much better would he be than he is? How much would that size and length? How
Jones
much more
versus
better?
Travis Brown. Let's do it.
I'd pay to that one too. Plenty of 2013 left. Plenty of great fights, big fights, championship belts on the line. This is MMA on Draft from First Run TV here at Dugout Sports Bar in Simi Valley, California. I'm Rich Slayton.
Joseph Ellen.
Donna Gonzalez.
Gary Teperman.
We may not be experts, but we are Monday morning cornermen.
We are
See you
that.
next time.